I had gotten this plastic plate from Hobby Lobby. It was in their clearance section for only $1. And I decided that I wanted to give it a little bit of a makeover. So I'm using this folk art chalk paint in the color white. And I just applied this all throughout the entire plate. This did end up taking about 3 coats, so you just want to make sure that you dry each coat in between before going on to the next coat. And once that was complete, you want to allow that to all completely dry. So now I'm using Simply Bless calendar made by Jennifer Pugh, and I'm using the Bless Our Nest page. So first I just cut it around in a circle, but I decided I didn't want that to go onto the plate as a circle. So once I placed that paper back down onto the plate, I just traced the edges of the inside of the plate with a pen. And once I had the edges of the inside completely traced out, I then just cut it down to size. And now it will fit perfectly inside of the plate. And to be able to adhere this page onto the plate, I'm using this matte finish Mod Podge. You could get this from Walmart or Dollar Tree. And I'm just putting a generous but also thin amount of Mod Podge, and then just place that paper right down, smooth it out with your fingers to make sure there are no air bubbles. And then to seal and protect the paper, you want to just put another layer of Mod Podge and let that completely dry. Once that was dry, to cover up the edges of the paper, I'm just applying some nautical rope along the inside edges of that plate. So just putting down some hot glue and just follow those edges with that nautical rope until the edges are completely covered. So this plate did have some raised edges, so I'm just going around the plate with a sanding block just to sand off some of that chalk paint. Again, this is to make those raised edges really pop out. And I also think this gave it a really nice weathered look. For part 2 of this video, I got this wooden birdhouse from Dollar Tree. And for my first coat, I'm going to be applying this brown acrylic paint, and I'm actually applying it with a baby wipe. So what this does is that it creates a really pretty wood stained look without using any harsh chemicals that are inside wood stained. And I just put this all throughout the bottom half of the birdhouse. I left the top alone because we're going to do something with that later on. Allow that paint to completely dry, and then I'm going to be using some petroleum jelly. Just put a small amount on your paintbrush and just randomly put that all throughout the birdhouse. Next, I'm using Waverly chalk paint in the color Pool. And for this, you want to make sure you do have a generous amount of this paint on your paintbrush because you're only going to be using 1 coat of this. And then again, I'm just putting this all throughout the bottom half of that birdhouse. And then you want to allow that to completely dry. Once dry, I'm just using my scraper tool. And what this is doing is it's lifting off that chalk paint where I had originally put down some of that petroleum jelly. And it just leaves you with this beautiful rustic feel to this birdhouse. If you get these grooved cardboards in any packages from Amazon or Chewy, definitely keep those. Those are worthwhile, especially in the crafting world. So I'm using that, and I'm just tracing out the top of this birdhouse. Once I had that all traced out, I just cut that cardboard right out. And I'm going to turn this into a rustic galvanized look. So first you want to start with a dark gray chalk paint, or it could be acrylic paint. Allow that to completely dry. Once dry, you then want to go in with a lighter gray colored paint. And I just used a sponge to apply that light gray color. And if you notice that it's too light, just go back in with some more of that darker gray color. Allow that to dry. Once dry, to make this look really rustic, I just used some antique wax, went around the edges of the cardboard, and then just allow that to completely dry. Once complete, I then am just going to hot glue this at the top of the birdhouse. And then to make it look like there's a little nest inside of this birdhouse, I just added some Spanish moss on the bottom hole of the birdhouse, and I had it so that just a little bit was kind of peeking out. And there you go, guys. How stinking cute did this project come out? I loved the duo. I hope this inspired you to create your own. If it did, please be sure to sprinkle the love. Thank you so much, and have a good rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.